All right, here we go. Take two once again. Told you guys we were coming right back. Thank you guys so much for your patience. All right, take two in action. What's going on, guys? Lee Sanders here of the RCWR show. You're tuning in for July the 6th, 2020. What is going on, guys? Okay, so we had some technical what the hell mumbo jumbo stuff that was going on earlier. I'm not sure what was going on with that. I tell you what, everything I got in front of my computer an hour before it was time to do the show, I made sure as far as any updates go, I was good to go. And there was nothing weird going on. The only thing I had noticed was that the software I used to multi-stream on multiple outlets, I noticed that there was a weird error loading thing that was going on. And I thought maybe I was able to work around that. Obviously, I wasn't, because you all had saw we had an episode that was titled from June. I even had spent the fine time and detail titling the episode, bio, and everything. And that obviously did not translate to the last stream that you guys had saw throughout social media. So, I'm definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board. And with regards to that software that I've been using, I think I just need to be done with it whatsoever. So I think from here on out, I'm definitely, I know I had said it before, but now after tonight, because I like when my shit can start on time and everything can end on time and all that good stuff. But it looks like I'll definitely be going with some other alternatives, more reliable alternatives from here on out as far as multi-streaming goes. But yeah, so look, I know a lot of you guys had celebrated the 4th of July holiday. If that was you, as you all know, you had checked out the last show. I told you guys I wasn't celebrating the 4th of July. I told you guys I was boycotting it, and I gave you guys my respected reasons why. But I know that during these turbulent times right now where a lot of Americans were affected by this pandemic in some type of way, whether they lost a significant other or they lost a loved one, or they had experienced some type of financial hardship, changing of employment, whatever the case may be. If you looked at this past weekend as an opportunity to forget about all of those things that was going on in your life during this whole pandemic and use it as an opportunity to get together with friends and family, and most importantly, be responsible in how you were going about getting together with those friends, families, and colleagues, and to just forget about all your problems, forget about politics and everything for a couple of hours, then you know what, God bless you. You know, that's how you had utilized the 4th of July weekend and everything. Hopefully you did it smart, you did it safe, and everybody is okay when it's all said and done. So we got us a nice short show tonight. I only want to go about 75 minutes, maybe up to 80 minutes. And reason being, we have a short turnaround this week. We're actually going to be coming right back Wednesday night. I have a rare Wednesday night off from work. So I actually will be watching and sharing my thoughts on NXT and AEW in real time for this Wednesday only. Until otherwise. So since we have such a short turnaround, that's why we're going to be doing a short show tonight. So kick back, relax, enjoy yourself. Raw this week, honestly, it felt like the movie, one of my all-time favorite movies from Bill Murray, Groundhog Day. It just felt as though I was literally watching the same thing that, damn, I could have sworn I saw this last week. I could have sworn I was experiencing all of these same emotions last week. What's going on here? Am I missing something? I got to tell you, SmackDown for the past several weeks, and I did watch SmackDown this past Friday, had the better product. Had the better product, as usual. Has the better product than Monday Night Raw. And, yeah, SmackDown last week was good, man. That Matt Riddle match, Matt Riddle taking on John Morrison, I ate that shit up. That shit was fantastic. Loved it. Fucking loved it. And then the Drew Gulak, you follow that great match between Matt Riddle and John Morrison. You follow that up with AJ Styles taking on Drew Gulak. You're going, woo, you know, hot damn, you know, pretty good. Cesaro, Nakamura in action against the New Day, you know, rather good tag team matchup there. So you had some solid action on SmackDown this past week and everything. But going into tonight's Monday Night Raw, just, oof, is all I have to say. Look, with regards to my man that's the current champion, Drew McIntyre, I gotta tell you something. With regards to Drew McIntyre, love the guy. Great fucking look. No doubt about that. Champion for him for many years now, even when he went over to Impact Wrestling and everything. But I got to tell you, this current incarnation of Drew McIntyre, it does nothing for me whatsoever. It feels as though I am watching a carbon copy of Roman Reigns to a degree. It feels as though I'm watching a carbon copy of John Cena to a degree. Now, obviously, we're going to have some people that's going to snicker at that, and they're going to say, well, he doesn't look like John Cena or Roman Reigns, Lee. No, you're absolutely right. He does not look like Roman Reigns or John Cena, but he sure as hell is getting booked quite like the John Cena and Roman Reigns. You remember that era where we're going through that period now. We've gone through it before. We went through the Hulk Hogan show where the Hulkster was shoved down our throats. We went through that period where we had Cena and Triple H shoved down our throats. Remember that? We had Roman Reigns shoved down our throat. This is what's going on now. This is what we're experiencing. And I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm just not feeling it. Here's the other thing that stood out to me tonight as well. And we're not doing a full-blown review of Monday Night Raw. I only want to talk about key things that really stood out to me. You know, that's how we've been doing it for the longest time when we talk Monday night. So I'm not doing a full-blown review. Again, just key points. If you'd have told me in 2020 that with regards to the Monday Night Raw flagship show, that one of the best highlights of the night would be seeing Heath Slater, I would say to you, huh? Come again? Heath Slater in 2020 is what's going to get me and a majority of fans pretty excited? What exactly happened? What, did he come back and he's looking fucking Randy Orton shredded or something? You know, did he pick up some bulk like Dwayne The Rock Johnson or something? Why would we be so excited about Heath Slater? You know, it's the same fucking recipe. Every single Monday night when we're watching the flagship show, Drew McIntyre comes out. Oh, I gotta tell ya, it's so nice being out here in front of you guys. Having myself a blast. To all of you watching at home. Hey, we're in this together. You and I need you to just reach your hand out. Reach out. Touch that screen. Touch that TV screen. Touch your tablet. Touch your phone. And I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, from my heart to yours, we're in this together. You and I, we're together. We're fighting through this, hand in hand. This championship, it's not my championship. It's not your championship. It's our championship. We're defending this championship together. Together, we're going to get through all of this. We're going to conquer it all. Yeah, it's too much for me. It's too much. It's too fucking much for me. I miss the old Drew McIntyre. I gotta tell you. And to this day, we never did get the full-blown, why did all of a sudden Drew McIntyre do this 180? You know, what's going on? You know, I brought that up before, different time. Yeah, no reason to rehash it right now, but no, you know, basically, we get, once again, McIntyre coming out. You know, like he does every single week and everything. You know, not his fault. He's basically running with what he's being given, and he's pretty much running with it and everything. It just felt like, all right, we're just killing time. We're just killing airtime. This is how we're going to kill the first 15 minutes. Okay, all right, whatever. But then it takes a nice little interesting turn because Dolph Ziggler comes out. And he doesn't reveal what the stipulation is going to be for his and McIntyre's match for the championship at the pay-per-view coming up next weekend. However, he does say, hey, I'm not the only one that feels as though, you're a backstabber. I mean, after all, you stabbed me in the back. I'm not the only one that's been feeling that way. There's other people. And the person that he introduced was Heath Slater. Now, remember, we hadn't seen Heath Slater in a good minute. He was on the chopping block of people. I got to put that in quotations because just when you think what the hell is going on and everything, we get surprised with some other stuff. But so that's why I'm using the quotations right now. But we see Heath Slater. Heath is looking fucking good. He's filled out better. Instantly, one of the first things I noticed was neck has gotten a bit wider, a bit thicker in a good way. Shoulders have gotten wider in a good way. He's picked up more bulk. He does not look like the lanky ass Heath Slater. Oh, isn't that the Wendy's mascot? He doesn't look like that anymore. He looks like a legit badass that could fucking kick some ass and everything. And I had to do a double take when I was seeing this guy. I'm going, is that? And they did a close up on him. I'm going, yes, it is. That's Heath Slater. Holy shit. Look at man, this guy's in phenomenal shape. Fuck, he been doing. All right. Very excited. From the moment he came out, I'm going, wow, this is a pleasant surprise. Fucking Heath Slater is back on my TV. Oh, okay, cool. And to Heath Slater's credit, the little bit of material that he was given, the little bit of rope that he has been given over the years, he has been able to make the best of an opportunity and somehow is able to have a really good over segment or a match that goes over with majority of folks online and everything. So it was definitely nice to see him get Matt love tonight and everything. But the storyline here with Slater and why he's kind of, the way it looks, has aligned with Ziggler, that was so beautiful, the way that it was laid out. You got Slater coming in there saying, hey, you remember, you and me, we go way back. We go way beyond, way before we did our thing with 3MB, way before that. We were friends much longer than that. We've been up and down many roads together. I love how they just set all of that up. And basically, why? That's the question. Why is Slater kind of what appears to be siding with Ziggler? What's going on here? And I love how they tackled that. In a nutshell, it's just basically, hey, Drew, remember when you got fired from the WWE? Who was calling, checking in with you every single day, trying to hang out with you every single time I was in the Florida area? That was me, wasn't it? And then when it came my time, where were you? Nowhere to be found. Love how all of that pretty much came full fucking circle there. And you got Slater saying, hey, you owe me. I remember something that you had said on the bump and everything, talking about how you'd go to bat for me. You want to try to get a match with me. You owe me. So Slater trying to cash in on that. Drew did not want to have this fight with Slater. He felt it was the wrong time, wrong place. He honestly, looking at it a step further, he felt as though, safe to say, Ziggler was just manipulating him and everything. And to a degree, yeah, you smelled it a while away. But Slater slapping the taste out of McIntyre's mouth, eventually gets his match. That's where I was a bit disappointed, because for the phenomenal look that Slater was in, I was hoping that the match would have gone at least 5 minutes. The match did not go 5 minutes. Pretty much start of the fucking match, Claymore kick to the face, 1, 2, 3. McIntyre picks up the win. That pretty much was it. But it was nice. Honestly, look, with regards to Heath Slater, again, great, phenomenal shape. To those of you that did not watch Monday Night Raw tonight, you got to go out of your way and you got to see that opening segment there with Slater. I hope that something, if it hasn't already been worked out with Slater already, hopefully, yeah, what I'm going to be paying attention to and what I want you guys to be paying attention to, we know WWE likes to upload stuff from the shows on their YouTube channel and everything. So what I'm going to be paying attention to is the social media engagements, the impressions, the likes, the dislikes. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to. I'm going to be paying attention to those social trends. And if it already hasn't been ironed out yet, I would hope that, maybe after this week is all said and done, if the offer has not already been given to Heath Slater, something will definitely materialize. We definitely need to see this guy back on fucking TV. And that's real. Now look, just because he's back on TV, I'm not saying, oh, give this guy a championship run. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if you actually straight up, should Heath Slater been on the chopping block? No, he should have never been on the chopping block. Anybody else but Heath Slater, I personally feel he had no business being shown the door. So hopefully this is the start of something refreshing for Heath Slater. If you see me kind of looking down right now, I'm just trying to delete the stuff that was streaming on our Facebook page there right before we had that stupid little era. But yeah, how about that? 2020, one of the things that would be more over and have me more excited and other people excited as well. It's not Drew McIntyre, the champion. Hey, it's fucking Heath Slater. Hey, how you been, dog? Yeah, one of those type of nights. Going through the rest of Monday Night Raw tonight. Sasha Banks taking on a returning Kairi Sane. Interesting development right here, because you had a lot of reports that was put out there that Kairi Sane was off TV. That she went back to her home country to be with her husband and everything. Because after all, she did get married a couple of months ago, and she hasn't exactly been able to enjoy being a wife. She hasn't exactly been in a really good position where she can catch up with her newlywed husband. So you heard all these reports that she's being taken off TV. You hear this stuff about Shayna Baszler, and we'll get into that Shayna Baszler a bit in just a hot minute, because I got a lot I want to say with regards to that. But you hear all these reports, and then boom, we see Kairi Sane here on our TV to basically help Asuka even up the odds against Sasha Banks and Bayley. So, this was a nice, pleasant return. Love Kairi Sane, love Asuka, love both of those girls. But second match, Sasha Banks taking on Kairi Sane. Not a bad match. Not a bad match. I thought Sasha got in a little bit too much offense in this match against Kairi. I felt it was kind of one-sided from that standpoint, because after all, you got a cool as veteran chick in there like Kairi Sane. Kairi can do her equal share of carrying the load as well. But for me, I felt, at least from the offensive end there, I felt that Sasha Banks was getting in too much. There was also a part of me that felt that, because this match, it almost went about 15 minutes long. I also felt that, it went just a tiny bit too long. And it did kind of feel as though after those first couple of minutes, after the opener there, and then they went into, I think they took 2 commercial break segments, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of felt as though after the second break, that's when things had really started to pick up a little bit. But, despite all that, pretty good matchup there. Kairi Sane picking up the W. So they pretty much did that right. That was a good match. I gotta say, that was actually a pretty good match. Um, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. You know, look, I'm sorry. I love Kevin Owens. Big fan of his. Big fan. You will never catch me say anything negative about the work of Kevin Owens. You'll never catch me. Because very seldom am I in a position where, oh, looks like Kevin Owens had a bad night there and I'm being constructive, yet critical of his work. I've yet to be in that position. However, this shit here with Seth Rollins, I mean, again, this is Groundhog Day. You know, we've already experienced for many months Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and this whole intertwining here of the disciples and all that. Like we've already gone through that. Kind of felt as though it was going literally nowhere. We just came off of WrestleMania with this shit. You know, why are we rehashing this yet again? It is my whole thing. Again, feels like Groundhog Day. I could have honestly done without this. It did nothing for me. Nothing for me whatsoever. Seth Rollins spewing the same rhetoric. You know, didn't particularly care for that. You know, whatever. Whatever. Somehow Rey Mysterio gets mixed in there. And good God Almighty, I think it was Rey Mysterio and Buddy Murphy that were fighting. Rey Mysterio picking up the W. Mysterio reveals his stipulation for the match that he's going to be having against Seth Rollins. I was ready to hear that it was going to be a winner takes the testicles from the other person, right? Loser has their testicles, kind of like a Mortal Kombat finishing maneuver, you know, ripped from them. No, apparently it's going to be a eye for an eye match. I don't think it's going to quite live up to, and it was nice to see, shout out to Dick Van Klondike there. I don't think it's going to live up to Stan the Man Hansen taking on Vader. I don't think it's going to quite live up to, and you guys that know your old school wrestling, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't think it's going to quite live up to that. But yeah, so that's the stipulation for that one. Okay. Yay. I don't know. Whatever. You know, yay. Whatever. Ricochet, Cedric Alexander took on Bobby Lashley, MVP. Your winners of that one, Lashley, MVP. About 5 minutes of a match. Just winging it. You're just there. Yeah, it really did nothing. You're just there. Viking Raiders, Big Show. Yeah, return to Big Show once again. Taking on Andrade, Angel Garza, Randy Orton. That actually was a relatively decent tag match. To a degree. To a degree. Barely decent. Like, if I had to give it a grading scale, I give it a C-. Honestly, I give it a C-. I'm tired of this whole Big Show stuff. I did enjoy seeing Randy Orton chew the hell out of Angel Garza. That I did get a nice little chuckle out of and everything. But something about this match. I think it's the Big Show effect, honestly. I think honestly it was the Big Show effect. I'm already past the whole Big Show thing. I just, let's have him be out of the picture already. We really don't need Big Show. Let him go do whatever he's doing. But let me say this though, while we're talking about that whole little entourage, let's get real for a second. One thing that I did find upsetting, troubling, and I don't care what anybody tries to tell me throughout social media, you're not going to convince this guy otherwise. Not when a bunch of people on WWE's payroll have already tested positive. Sorry, not sorry, to see Ric Flair week after week involved in these fucking segments. I don't give a fuck if it's backstage. I don't give a fuck if, he's just at ringside. I don't give a fuck about any of that. We are still in the middle of a fucking pandemic. This man had surgery not that long ago. He is at the right kind of age where, as far as being most vulnerable to catching this virus, I don't need to continue to see Ric Flair on my TV every single week. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. And I had a couple of people say to me, WWE's running a really nice tight ship down there in Florida. Well, if it was such a nice tight fucking ship down there in Florida, we wouldn't have Renee Young. We wouldn't have fucking, I know he works for another company, but Jon Moxley. We wouldn't have Jamie Noble and my God, all the other names that we had covered, last week and everything. We wouldn't have all those people in WWE. Adam Pearce. We wouldn't have all these people testing positive for this fucking COVID if things were being fucking ran so tightly like that. We need to get our heads out of our asses, and we need to stop sucking up to fucking companies. I don't know what, so they can notice us or something, so we can get a like or retweet because we're defending them or whatever. No, we need to be fucking real. They run a nice tight little ship. Okay, well, since they run a nice tight little fucking ship in your book, okay, well, you send your fucking parents down there. You send your fucking grandparents or great grandparents down there, and let's see how that pans out. I bet you a majority of the people are gonna say, hell no, I'm not sending my fucking grandparent. I'm not sending my loved one down there. Fuck no. Florida too, of all places. Please, to see people even try to defend the WWE and how they are operating during these pandemic times, especially down there in Florida, I'm not trying to hear it right now. You got a governor that's down there that is a fucking dumbass. You got a governor that's down there that is a fucking dumbass. He went through with the phases way too soon. Greed honestly got the best of him and other governors in their respected states, not getting too political. And I mean, look, not for nothing, I've been paying very close attention to what's been going on there in Florida. Because remember I told you guys is that, me and the missus, we were supposed to get married out there a couple of months ago. And now we pushed the wedding back to next year. But I gotta tell you, we both have been comparing notes on, all the things that's been going on out there in Florida. And now we're both saying to ourselves, do we really want to have a wedding in Florida? Even if things were to get back to normal, just 100% normal, do we really want, and I gotta tell you, we had a heart-to-heart talk twice over the weekend. And it was, okay, well, look, let's just go ahead locally. Let's see what we got here locally. We know this area very well. Let's see what's up locally, and then we can pretty much go from there. That's how much loss of respect. Those are the words that I want to use. That's how much of a loss of respect we have for how Florida is being handled right now. So you can tell me all you want about, WWE's running a nice tight little ship, well, try explaining that to the people that eventually came down with COVID. And notice, let me also bring up this point. All the people from WWE that came down with the COVID, do you see any of them going on social media saying, I came down with the COVID, and it's not WWE's fault at all. I don't want people to be upset at WWE. I knew the risk, and I was willing to take the risk. We knew that this was something that could possibly happen. It comes with the territory there. I had a family to support. I'm sure you guys can understand, but you guys should not. You don't see anybody going to bat for WWE. I'm sure that off the record, all those people that came down with the fucking pandemic, I'm sure most of those motherfuckers, if not all of them, would say to you, yeah, with regards to this fucking pandemic, honestly, we had no business being out there. We had no business being out there. We should have just been, sitting at home and, I guess collect a paycheck or something. I don't know what, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So, peep that out next time. But Ric Flair, please, we got to get him off TV. Come on, man. Come on. That's just not right. That is just not right. I don't care if it was, and even if he didn't have the surgeries and all that, that could be the Hulkster out there. I would say the same thing. That could be, if he was still with us, rest his soul, if he was still with us, Dusty Rhodes. I don't even want to see Vince McMahon. Like, Vince, just stay at home, dog. Just operate your business from, your computer, Zoom, and, fat chance of that fucking happening. But you get my point. So, yeah, it just makes me cringe seeing that. I don't know for you guys, but it just makes me cringe seeing that. Every single time, turn around, see Ric Flair there, just rubs me the wrong way. Really, really pisses me off. You know what also irked me off tonight? Every single goddamn commercial break, I get the fucking little kid in the Sonic commercial. Everything because of pickles. Every fucking commercial break. After a while, my girl looks over to me and she says, I think they know you don't like that little kid. So this is why you keep getting your favorite commercial. I say, you're probably right. For decades, the story has been, your TV's spying on you, right? That's always been the long rumor there. But if they're not showing the Sonic commercial with that annoying little kid, then they're showing the Sonic commercial. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. The dad, the country dad with his 3 country daughters, and he's just going, oh my God, oh man, oh my God. And the daughters are like, you act like you're, I don't know what they say, you're having a menstrual or whatever the fuck they say to him, and the dad's like, oh, this is my favorite. Oh, it's like, I don't know which is worse, the little kid or the fucking dad. All I know is I want to see the 2 ad guys come back to Sonic. What was wrong with the 2 ad guys? I related so much to the 2 ad guys. I don't relate to none of these motherfuckers that they're showing in these Sonic commercials. I relate to none of them whatsoever. None of these fucking commercials from Sonic makes me want to look at my significant other and say, hon, that's what I want to fucking experience tonight. Let's go to fucking Sonic so I can be just like that guy and fucking nut in my pants over their ice cream. Let's go to Sonic so I can be just like that little kid and say, It does nothing. It does nothing for me. I don't know what it was, but the 2 ad guys, every time I saw them, they were quirky, they were witty, they had personality, they looked like everyday fucking average Joes, they look like people I could fucking relate to. I can't relate to none of the people that they've been showing me on fucking TV. You want to, really get down to, it's not a race thing either, people. It's not a race thing. Because I remember the one Sonic commercial that they showed with the with the black people. I think it was like mostly girls that was in the car, and it's like, nah, you want to connect me and other people. I don't know, man. Why don't you get like some teenagers, in a car together, maybe some college grads, get some gamers for a commercial, maybe get some fucking, You know what? For all the advertising that WWE seems to be showing love to Sonic for, put some fucking WWE superstars in there. I mean, they'd be promoting everything fucking else, but every single time I turn around, I gotta deal with those fucking, if it ain't the little kid, I'm sorry, I'm just spewing it out right now. I gotta get it out of my system. Woosa. That's just me right now. I gotta get it out. Don't mind me, folks. Anyway, let's keep moving along here. Again, winners for that tag match we were talking about earlier there. Randy Orton, Andrade, Angel Garza. Let's get to the heart of the matter for tonight. By the way, the main event match, champion versus champion, Asuka taking on Bayley to close out the show. I did enjoy that. That actually was a pretty good closer for the night. I see the women close things out for a change, but that does not get WWE off the hook. Because right before that match happened, we had got, believe it or not, barely a 3-minute match that consisted of Billie Kay taking on Ruby Riott. And let me tell you something right now. Damn it, Ruby Riott deserves better. I'm going to say it again. Ruby Riott deserves better. I'm passionate tonight. I'm fired up tonight, goddammit. I'm going to explain to you the reason why. I'm not sure how many of you guys had actually took the time out to research this, but your boy over here actually did take the time out to research this. This has to do with Ruby Riott, and we'll definitely slide in Shayna Baszler in here afterwards, but we're going to link her to this. And it follows up on an interesting tweet that I had put out while watching this particular match and seeing how everything had played down tonight. Stay with me, folks. Your boy did research tonight. Peep this out. We're going to rewind it back to 2019. 2019. With the loss that Ruby Riott suffered at the hands of Billie Kay tonight, this marks her 25th consecutive defeat. Her 25th. Let that sink in a second. This is her 25th consecutive defeat. Not 5, not 10, not 15, not 20, 25. What you're feeling right now, what you're hearing right now is passion. I'm not angry. It's just passion that's coming from my heart right now. Because damn it, Ruby Riott, Heidi Lovelace, those of you remember on the Independents, this is a damn good talent. Damn good girl. Charismatic as hell. Damn fucking solid in the ring. Gets my fucking vote any goddamn day of the week. Rewind this back. The last victory that Ruby Riott had, you gotta rewind it back to April 19th of 2019, where her and Lacey Evans, the whole Riott squad, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, with Lacey Evans, defeated Bayley, Dana Brooke, Amber Moon, Nikki Cross. That was the last time she had a W. After that, it goes as follows. Again, for April of 2019, after that win, Bayley and Amber Moon defeat the Riott squad, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan. April 22nd, Dana Brooke defeats Ruby Riott. May 8th, 2019, Beth Phoenix and Natalya defeat the Riott squad, Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. May 9th, 2019, triple threat match. Beth Phoenix and Natalya defeat Lacey Evans and Tamina and the Riott squads, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott. May 10th, 2019, Beth Phoenix and Natty defeat the Riott squads, Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. May 11th, 2019, Beth Phoenix and Natalya defeat the Riott squads, Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. May 12th, 2019, Beth Phoenix and Natalya defeat the Riott squads, Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. Are you guys getting a little bit tired yet? It just keeps on. Now, some of you guys, I'll note that some of these joints that I'm going over are house show matches. Mind you, these are house show matches, but I'm giving it to you every single time she had a match, included with TVs and pay-per-view events. Now, May 14th, 2019, Bayley and Amber Moon defeat the Riott Squad's Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. May 15th, Bayley and Amber Moon defeat the Riott Squad's Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. May 16th, 2019, Bayley and Amber Moon defeat the Riott Squad's Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. May 17, 2019, Raw Women's Title Fatal 4-Way. Becky Lynch defended and defeated Lacey Evans, Ruby Riott, Tamina. Yeah. Special referee Sarah Logan. Liv Morgan defeats Ruby Riott. That was from March 2nd of 2020. So look at that gap there. Remember, May 17th of 2019, and then next time we see Ruby, it's March 2nd, 2020. Remember, she had the double shoulder surgery there. All right, so she comes back. Sarah Logan's the special guest referee, and she loses. March 8th, 2020, Raw Women's Title, #1 contendership, Elimination Chamber. Shayna Baszler defeats Asuka, Liv Morgan, Natty, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan. April 13th, 2020, Money in the Bank qualifying match. Asuka defeats Ruby Riott. April 20th, Liv Morgan defeats Ruby Riott. April 27th, Kairi Sane defeats Ruby Riott. This is all 2020 now. April 27th, Liv Morgan defeats Ruby Riott. May 12th, Charlotte defeats Ruby Riott. May 15th, Bianca Belair defeats Ruby Riott. May 25th, Bianca Belair defeats Ruby Riott. June 17th, Bianca Belair defeats Ruby Riott. June 27th, Peyton Royce defeats Ruby Riott. And for July 6th, 2020, Billie Kay defeats Ruby Riott. 25 consecutive defeats. Folks, this woman deserves better. She deserves 10 times better. I put this tweet out and I said, I can literally hear Vince McMahon in the back say, "There's no way in hell I want to see that girl get pushed. No, that girl looks like, I don't want any woman that looks like that over in my company. Any woman, no. That woman looks like she can kick my ass. No, He just comes off like the type that, no, she's not attractive. She's ugly. I don't like her. She doesn't have a nice ass. She doesn't have a nice pair of boobs. She doesn't have blonde hair. She doesn't have any tattoos. Ruby Riott, much like Shayna Baszler, obviously do not fit that mold of what Vince McMahon likes in his women on WWE programming. You cannot convince me otherwise, because if it was entirely not the case, then why 25 consecutive losses for this girl? Who's booking this shit? Who is booking this shit? Seriously. Who the fuck, I know, before anybody says, well, Lee, wins and losses, it doesn't really matter, it's all about good entertainment. And you know what? I can agree with that to a certain degree. But tell me something. Much like with Dolph Ziggler, if you can, as a fan, get to that point where, oh, hey, this person's out. Oh, I wonder who their opponent is going to be. Cue up the music. Oh, shit, that's going to be a loss. Oh, yeah, this person's coming out. Yeah, they always lose. That's not, no. This is so mind-boggling right now. because at a time right now where we don't have Charlotte Flair, we don't have Becky Lynch. If there was ever a time for, okay, we need to seriously invest in some women. We need to invest in some women that definitely have personality, that definitely are capable of carrying the workload, for us right now. It's much like, I always think back to when Chris Jericho and the circumstances surrounding him becoming undisputed champion. You think about the guys that were out around that period of time. And it was basically a case of, well, you know what? Next man up. This is a golden opportunity right here. Next person up. Much like in everyday life, if you are in a position where, you work in management and, somebody has left the team. All right, well, an opportunity just presented itself right there. And if you've always been interested in moving up in your company and all of that, okay, well, this may be that break that you're looking for. This may be that opportunity for you to seize and, try to help elevate yourself, get yourself noticed and everything. So at a time where, again, we don't have Charlotte Flair, we don't have Becky Lynch. Okay, that's great that we've got Sasha Banks and Bayley and, we've got them running around all three shows and everything. That's great and everything. But during the process of all of this, other than them being enhanced and growing their portfolio even more, in return, who are they enhancing? Who are they advancing? Because it doesn't matter if you have them running around on all these other shows. At the end of the day, who are they advancing? Who are they bringing up to their level? And right now, if the only thing you can tell me in 2020 is, well, the only people that they're elevating is Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, get the fuck out of here. I'm so beyond that. I'm so done with that. I'm tired of Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. They do nothing for me whatsoever. Damn sure don't do anything for me as baby faces. They don't do anything for me whatsoever. This is very frustrating right now. Very frustrating. I take this damn personal. I interviewed way before she even came into the WWE. And I'm not saying this to, suck my own dick or anything like that. I'm just saying it because I connected so well to the person behind the gimmick, basically. That's the point that I'm trying to establish. But many years ago, I had interviewed Heidi Lovelace, a.k.a. Ruby Riott. And, just way back then, I was like, man, this is somebody definitely people need to be watching. And the way I usually operated, even to this day, but particularly way back when I would have different guests just pop up on the show, I used to always be attracted to those that were kind of not really in the norm, kind of out the box a little bit. That kind of caught my eye, that I was pretty sure that people would be talking about, in some years to come and everything. And, by now, it's quite sad, but by now, injury aside, I know the injury had got the best of Ruby Riott and everything, but injury aside, this is a case right here where by now, in 2020, to not even, hey, Ruby Riott, at this point, she's been a 2-time women's champion. The fact that she has not even become a women's champion yet. And let me tell you this, what's really fucking sad. And this is the God's honest truth. You all know this, and I know this point that I'm getting ready to make, which is, if it would have been Sasha Banks, if it would have been Bayley, if it would have been Becky Lynch, if it would have been Charlotte Flair that had to go out because of an injury, have the same injury like what Ruby Riott had, you and I and everybody else know damn well that upon coming back, she would have had this great redemption path of a storyline to the championship. Ruby Riott deserves better when it's all said and done. Yeah, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse. It's stupid. Now, that brings me to Shayna Baszler. You know, we're pretty much done talking about Raw, by the way. I mean, like I said, it was pretty much a lackluster show. You know, so for you guys that didn't watch it tonight, you guys really didn't miss that much. But with regards to Shayna Baszler is essentially, you know, kind of in that doghouse that Ruby Riott is in. You got the reports that's floating around now by PW Insider. Fightful has also echoed the same sentiments, shed a little bit more light and everything. Becky Lynch, of all people, was really the one that had shed a lot of light on all the shit that was going on behind the scenes. But, you know, by all accounts, it would appear that Shayna Baszler is no mas, at least for Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon, you know, we don't need to put words in Vince McMahon's mouth. I'm not, you know, you see some reports, you know, her whole MMA background, you know, well, how you explain Brock Lesnar and his amateur wrestling background, and then when he did the whole MMA thing. And so, no, you know, let's really break this down for what it's worth. This is probably a case where Vince McMahon isn't really fond of women that look like they could legitimately kick his ass. You know, he's not really a fan of women that don't exactly look, you know, truly fuckable to him, you know, for what it's worth. We all remember the Vince McMahon back in the day that fucking every time you turned around, he had to get in the ring with the hottest fucking woman on the roster and be kissing and all kinds of salacious, scandalous fucking, you know, what the hell is going on here? You look back on some of that shit now and you can't believe that that actually had aired on TV. I mean, because it was pretty raunchy back in the day. Especially the shit with Trish Stratus. Different topic for another time. But, you know, Shayna Baszler, look, I don't care what anybody says with regards to Shayna Baszler. You know, I've seen a lot of people make fun of her looks, you know, her personality, and I don't care about all that shit. For me, that sister looked like a fucking beast. The way she was booked in NXT and everything, it was awesome. It was awesome. Hunter, all them people, you know, Triple H, you know, Paul Levesque, whatever you want to call them, all them people down at NXT, they understood her, they got her, and they played to her strengths. And it's like night and day. Night and day. What you saw in NXT, you're thinking, okay, well, that should definitely translate well on the main roster. And it did not. You know, not for nothing. I don't know if you guys had listened to the Bella's podcast recently, but Becky Lynch had made a pit stop over there. And Becky Lynch had revealed that she pitched hard. She pitched hard for Shayna Baszler to be the one to win the Royal Rumble, go into WrestleMania, drop the title to Shayna Baszler. But she met resistance and rejection on all fronts. That says a lot about Becky Lynch as far as I'm concerned. That says a lot. You know, say what you will about Becky Lynch. And yeah, I'm definitely, I've been at this end of the microphone criticizing the Becky Lynch show and everything. But you know what? I'll give the devil its due. Hey, at least we had this woman that had enough common sense to go, okay, you know what? This is all about trying to build up new talent. This is all about trying to enhance, trying to advance new talent. Okay, well, for everything that this girl was doing in NXT, and we really want to get her off on the right footing, okay, well, this is the way that we need to do it. You know, excuse the fuck out of Becky Lynch for having common fucking sense here and saying, hey, you know, this is the correct way we should do business. And, you know, at least Becky Lynch kind of understood, hey, the chase, as I've always said over the years, the chase is better than the catch. but she met rejection on all fronts. So we have not seen Shayna Baszler in forever. Now, apparently there was a match that was taped that she was involved in for main event. Not sure when that's going to be airing or whatever, but, you know, just when you think, you know, maybe, you know, oh, damn, Shayna Baszler, she's suffering with some type of an injury. You know, is a loved one maybe suffering from the COVID? You know, what's going on with Shayna Baszler? Oh, not much is going on with Shayna Baszler. She just ain't being used. We can wheel out old man Ric Flair. We can wheel out the fucking Big Show. We can even do a little something with Heath Slater, nothing personal, Heath, but, you know, we can even do a little something with Heath Slater. We can have all these fans make up for, we gotta have all these enhancement wrestlers, all these wrestlers that's under developmental contracts. We can have all of them be extras. We can have them be our fans, let them wear masks, and if they want, you know, well, yeah, we should mandate it. You know, they need to wear masks. We can do all that. We can have this wrestler go on this show and this wrestler go on that show, and we can have these wrestlers go on all three brands, but we can't find anything to do with properly. We can't find anything properly and constructively to do with Shayna Baszler. I got to give the devil its due, man. I see, even though it was a major blow for Impact Wrestling, Tessa Blanchard leaving, but their women's division still pretty good. Still pretty good. Especially now that they got Kylie Ray, they got the Virtuoso, Deonna Purrazzo down there now, who's in a great feud there with Jordan Gray so far. I think they're going to have a phenomenal match coming up at Slammiversary later this month. You still got Ty Valkyrie down there. You still got Kiera Hogan. You got Havoc down there. You even look at what's been going on with AEW's women's division. You know, they're now, you know, waking the fuck up and taking it a little bit more seriously. You know, I mean, you look at their women's divisions. Other than the WWE's NXT women's division, you know, which is pretty good. Despite having the women's talent on the flagship shows, you know, between the two, you know, they're not really doing a good job in advancing and really establishing right now. It's just, I get out there, kill some time, and that's pretty much it. I mean, other than the focal point being on the girls I had mentioned earlier, you know, that's it. Not good. Not good. WWE's got to change that. They got to change that with the fucking quickness. And that's the God's honest truth. Gino, respectfully, you know, I kind of heard about that person that you had mentioned there, but man, I got to be honest with you. I know a lot of you guys make your rounds checking out different podcasts and everything. I sadly do not do that like you guys. I mean, for me personally, my guilty pleasure, Jim Cornette. I love hearing Cornette, Brian Last. If I'm not listening to them when I get an opportunity, I'm listening to my good friend Mish and the boys over at Wrestling Soup. I'm listening to my colleague DT. You know, now more than ever these days, I'm usually listening to his solo shows. If I'm not listening to one of those, I'm not listening to anybody else. You know, so for me, I'm just kind of in this little bubble. So, you know, I mean, you know, I know different people are going to say their thing, and, you know, I'm not saying it to put anybody down, but my whole thing is, well, you know what? If that person said that, that's cool. I just know what I think. I just know what I feel, and I just kind of run off of that. I always try to tell aspiring podcasters and all that, and I've said it for years now. You know, try to do your best to not be influenced in any type of way. And probably what would be really difficult for aspiring podcasters is podcasters who, before they do their show, they listen to what everybody else says. And then that's how they form their opinion. And that's a very bad rabbit hole to fall down, because when you go down that rabbit hole, it's kind of hard to separate what's really your opinion from what you just copied and essentially heard from another show that you're essentially borrowing. I'm putting that in quotations, and kind of go from there. Nah. That's why for me it's like, even with those names that I mentioned, for the most part, I don't get around to listening to those shows until I put out the last show for the week. That way I'm not influenced in any type of way. And then whatever I happen to hear on those shows that I had mentioned, who I love tremendously, shout out to all you guys, love y'all tremendously. Even if I hear something that was, very valid point, like worthy enough to bring up on the next show, it's got to be something that was a damn good point, and I gotta make sure that this is reiterated. But unlike some people, hey, I gotta give credit, was listening to blah blah blah, they brought up a good point. From time to time I'll do that. I haven't done it in a while, but most times, even after I get done putting out my content and I'm listening to my colleagues and friends, if they put out something that, oh yeah, you know what, it's like, no, that's it. You're only as good as your last show. You gotta keep it moving along. You can't keep going backwards. So, and I think that's why veteran listeners of my show have come to respect me a lot, is because they know that what they're listening to is not influenced in any type of way. It's just the guy's giving it to us raw. I mean, like tonight, I have no bullet points, nothing. I'm just off the top of my brain. Whereas the up and coming aspiring podcasters, they've got sheets long and all that other shit. There's nothing wrong with having bullet points, but anytime you gotta memorize a script, it's kind of like, you're being too controlled. You're being too confined. You're not giving yourself enough of an opportunity to breathe and everything. So, but it is what it is. Hey, I see we've been on now for about an hour, so we'll definitely go another, what I say? I think I said we were going to do up to 80 minutes. So, we'll do about maybe 10 to 20 more minutes, and then we'll call it a night. We're definitely not going anywhere near 90 minutes. I promise you guys that. I do want to get into some Patreon shout outs. Remember, patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio and video content, great majority of which you won't be able to find anywhere else. I'm going to be sitting down later this week working on some Patreon content. Shout out to Gino. Shout out to Justin Ripstock. Shout out to Sean Kenter. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to Tony Bing Gaming. Love my Tony Bing Gaming. You want the very latest in all things Marvel Super War, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel Strike Force. He's also covering the upcoming Square Enix game, Avengers, that's going to be released on all the next-gen consoles. Check out Tony Bing Gaming, tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, reviews. Did I mention also John Davis, besides Michael Wolf, for Patreon members? Shout out as well. And if I said it twice, oh well. So nice, I'll say it twice. Oh well. But shout out to all of those Patreon members. Also special shout out to our sponsor for tonight, SoFanComics.com. Listen up, you guys that's into all things comic books, you're into your pop culture figures and movies and all that, SoFanComics.com, they can hook you up, whether you need some stuff mailed out to you, to your home, or to your office. Look, we're still dealing with these pandemic times right now, turbulent times at that, so I don't blame you guys for not really wanting to travel out there and mingle too much with the public, because if you happen to come down with the COVID, 9 times out of 10, you're getting it from essential places, grocery store, things of that nature, a restaurant, things of that nature. So if you need your comic book fix, your pop culture fix, But you don't want to be going out there and dealing with the public. Totally understand where you guys are coming from. Do like I do, sofancomics.com. They can hook you up at your home or at office. Maybe your home is your office right now. They got your hookup, good, reasonable shipping rates, some nice little deals as well for those shipping rates. Check them out, sofancomics.com. Appreciate them being sponsors for these past couple of weeks. True story, I had a couple of people that wanted to advertise with us. And I don't know what's going on, but past couple of times now, I've had people that have tried to put upon me the selling of their mask. And the first thing I'm doing is, okay, well, let's see what's going on with your prices. And their prices was just ridiculous. One person, I'm not going to put their names out there, but one person or company that wanted to advertise with us, they were selling masks for $50 a pop. $50 a pop for a mask. Now, some of you guys may say, that's bulk, right? No, my friends, that's just one mask. Little Timmy, Sue, Joanne, they're fucked. They're fucked. Yeah, I politely said no. Another person, it was essentially the same deal, but their mask was even more expensive. I'm like, no, it's sad that we got people that's trying to take advantage of people and their wallets right now. During these times, it's like Jesus. It's like, and I can't stress this enough. People, don't fall for those tactics. If you need some mask, 9 out of 10, I know I just said, I can understand it if you guys don't want to travel out in public and all that, especially when it comes to essentials. But if you have a nearby dry cleaners, I know a lot of dry cleaners right now, they're making masks from scratch and they're selling them at more reasonable prices than what some of these cats are trying to offer online. Go with them, or even your local grocery store, or Sam's Club, Walmart. Go with places like that for, masks, and get them for a good deal before even entertaining the idea of buying a $50 mask and you don't have nothing to show for it. It's just a regular surgical bullshit type of mask. You feel me? Like, wow, that's what you're spending your $50 on, and you only have one of those? And you're going to have to reuse that again and again. Don't do that. Be smart, people. Be smart. I know it can be tempting, but you'd be surprised how many of these people are just all about the fucking money. So look, autopsy report had came in for Shaq Gaspard. And as we all know, he tragically passed away in May. And as you younger folks, you younger listeners out there, with regards to autopsies, very rare will an autopsy be available as soon as a person dies. Later that week, an autopsy is made available. Very rare a situation like that will occur. Normally it takes a couple of weeks. But the release from the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office, they did put out, a little bit of details. There's nothing surprising about the report. The official cause of death listed was drowning, and the death was ruled an accident. Obviously. It also had noted that there was a small trace of alcohol in Shad's system, but the amounts indicated that he was not drinking that day, and that it may represent in part or in its entirety to postmortem microbial activity, basically. Essentially when it's all said and done, a lot of people have the misconception, well, I had drank yesterday, so I should be. Not necessarily. Whether you had one beer, or you had 5 beers, or you had one shot of Jack Daniels, It's not going to be totally flushed out of your system, 8 hours later or 12 hours later after you get some sleep. That's not how it works. As most people that have had their share of drinks knows, once you go to sleep and you wake up, depending on how much you drink, or if you're just a little bit, I won't say a wuss, but if you don't really drink that often, then especially if you have a little tiny body, then that one shot, that one bottle, it can do a lot to you. So, waking up the next day, you always notice your mouth is very dry. You feel a little weak. You kind of feel like you have a little bit of a headache. That's the hangover. All right, so at this point, you got to get yourself hydrated. That's what it's all about. You got to get yourself hydrated. So you got to make sure you're drinking your water and all that good stuff. So my point, whether it's 12 hours or it's 18 hours later, most cases it's going to take at least 48 to maybe 60 plus hours for the alcohol to fully be out of your system there. So just thought I'd pass along that to you. And by the way, if you have not contributed to the Shad Gaspar GoFundMe page, you still have time. Family greatly would appreciate any type of help that you all might be able to contribute. Again, as I always tell you guys, especially when it comes to GoFundMes and everything, take care of yourself, take care of your family. You all come first. If you're in a position where you can give afterwards, you want to pay it forward in a big way, all right, awesome. If you are a little bit tight on money, do the next best thing. You got your respective social media feeds. You got anything social media related, share that information throughout your social media accounts. And also, if you really want to represent the family, don't forget, you can go to Al Snow and David Hero's website. I think it's collar and elbow. You'll know it if you do a Bing Google search. But basically, you can go on the website and you can buy a Shad Gaspar shirt over there. And 100% of all the profits, as opposed to what Pro Wrestling Tees is doing with their Shad Gaspar shirt, there's only a percentage of proceeds that's going towards the family. Whereas you buy the shirts through Al Snow and David Hero's site, all the money collected for those shirts, it's all 100%. All of it is going right to the family. So remember that. And I'm sure that family will definitely thank you tremendously in advance. I want to give a congrats. I know normally when I brought her up on the show, I've usually been very critical. I've usually been very, some might downright say harsh, but never personal. Never anything personal. It's always just, hey, this is what I'm seeing of this character, playing before my eyes in the ring, on TV each week. And Sarah Logan. Yes, I know I've been very, very critical of her. I know essentially she, we didn't really talk about it either, but she basically got out of the wrestling business. And she basically, I forgot what she's doing now. I think she's going around shooting up things now, if I remember right. Something, it looked kind of cool what I saw her doing. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But congrats to Sarah Logan. She had revealed earlier today that she's pregnant. So, congrats to her. And that's nice to hear. That is nice to hear. I tell you, I hope that for her and her husband, Eric Rowe, I hope that the child to be comes into this world healthy, no complications whatsoever, and most importantly, I hope that by the time this child arrives, or it could be twins, so I'll say children, but I hope that by the time of the arrival, I hope that everything that's going on right now with this whole bullshit pandemic, this hot climate of a political season, I hope everything will just be a 180 And I sincerely mean that. Can you just imagine? Because I know a lot of you guys are older and everything. Could you just imagine bringing a child into this world right now? I mean, like right now, now. Insane. Just fucking insane. I wouldn't want to do it. I would not want to do it. Not right now. I would not want to do it. See some other tidbits we can get into before we get ready to roll out. Probably the biggest piece of news that had went down right before the 4th of July break and everything. PW Insider reported it. Fightful also had shared their information on what they were learning about as well. But it looks as though Evolve, founded by Gabe Sapolsky and everything, it looks as though Evolve is done. Looks as though Evolve is going to be acquired by the WWE. I'm assuming that everything has pretty much been finalized. If it's not been finalized, it's a damn sure about to be finalized and everything. And this kind of goes back to a report from June where Wrestling Observer had really got the ball rolling, saying that Evolve was looking to sell to the WWE, and those reports later got, what's the right word, amplified. I think that's the best word that we can use. They had got amplified when the company had put out a statement saying, hey, as far as dates for future shows, nothing, we got nothing scheduled right now, nothing for the fall. You're like, kind of interesting what's going on there. And I gotta tell you, I would like to believe a couple of things. Much like with, I'm sure you guys have seen the report by now, but in case you all were not aware, about 1,400 or 1,700 Pizza Hut restaurants, all of them under the umbrella, Pizza Hut basically have filed for bankruptcy. And the company that owns the Pizza Huts also own, I think, about 400 to 500 Wendy's restaurants as well. All of those under the same company, all of those had went up for bankruptcy. And it's interesting because last year, Pizza Hut was eyeballing closing down 500 dine-in locations because they just were not really bringing in money, so they were looking to shut those down. And it's kind of funny because out here where I live, for the longest time, for many years, there was a Pizza Hut dine-in. You could literally go in with your family, you could sit down just like how it was if you were a kid growing up in the 80s, and you could salad bar and all that cool shit back in the day. There were a few Pizza Hut restaurants that were still operating like that. But sadly, these restaurants, which Pizza Hut higher ups felt were underperforming, they were going to shut them down. But with COVID, obviously that has switched things up big time. And it was a case where, okay, well, we got to expedite. I mean, they lost, I think, almost $2 billion. Pizza Hut, Wendy's, like combined, they lost about $2 billion during this whole pandemic. So you kind of knew that. And so flipping it back to wrestling, when you look at Evolve, I mean, really stop and think about this. For companies like Evolve and others, what's their bread and butter is definitely WrestleMania weekend. We rely tremendously on WrestleMania weekend because we're able to piggyback off of them, all the money that we're able to bring in, different shows that we're able to host. Some people are going to be doing WrestleMania Access, other people are going to be doing this, other people are going to be doing that, yada 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 yada. And so all different shit. I remember my friends over at Soup. I remember they were supposed to be down Florida WrestleMania weekend for I think it was the Covenant event that they were doing. Something that starts with a C. There was something that they were supposed to be doing out there, but I mean, it all just fell like dominoes, left and right by the day. And all of these independent wrestling promotions, promoters, all these events, it's like a hand in hand type of deal. The wrestling fans were the biggest winners that weekend, but all of these cats, collectively, they were winning as well, because ultimately it was, kind of like a convention when it's all said and done, and they were essentially able to expand their brand, build up new fans. When you have great networking like that, you're bound to thrive for longer. Much like you go to your favorite local mall. Was just by my local mall literally for the first time in months the other day. And they shut that bitch down. The food court doesn't even exist anymore. They shut that bitch down. I don't know what they're getting ready to turn that into, but business was already kind of bad before the pandemic. And now, like, you know it's a sign of the times when you don't have the Sears anymore. You ain't got Macy's and all that, and you're like, shit. But it's much like with your local mall. You've already seen with your own two eyes how some of these malls have been struggling, and you're going, man, how much longer can these guys last? And then when the pandemic hits, remember something. I know a lot of you guys don't think this way, but those malls in particular, strip malls and all of that, if they're not bringing in money for X amount of weeks going into X amount of months, unless they got a landlord that can look the other way and all that shit, then it's a bad scenario of, okay, well, we don't have the money to keep going. We're not going to be able to afford the lease, which means we're essentially not going to be able to afford paying these employees, which just the whole domino effect. So I would imagine that with regards to Evolve, that's essentially what had happened to them, with probably WrestleMania being that blow that really kind of sealed the deal. And then the longer the pandemic went, and I also remember, because we talked about it here a couple of weeks ago, Evolve had ended up refunding, because I remember Gabe Sapolsky, he mentioned it on social media that those that had purchased Evolve tickets for some events, they have finally got the ball rolling and initiating the refunds and everything. So, yeah. And then you had the situation with WWN entering discussions with WWE as well. For WWE, look, I don't know what their agenda is right now, because when it's all said and done, WWE, they've already got NXT. That's their developmental system. So, do they really continue to go on with, Evolve and, let it keep operating in some capacity, and Gabe can keep doing what he's doing, blah, 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 or is this a case where, no, you know what, it's good that we acquired this because the Evolve library, and not for nothing, but I talked about it right here on the show a couple of weeks ago. Actually, no, not a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. It was earlier this year, though, because I am a member of the WWE fan council, and there was a survey. I talked about it on the show, but there was a survey that they had put out. So this kind of gives you a little bit of an indication. Let me take a swig real quick. So this gives you a little bit of an indication maybe how long WWE has been courting Evolve. But there was a survey that WWE had put out to us, and they were saying, hey, how interested would you be in seeing this content on the WWE network? And one of the promotions that they mentioned was Ring of Honor. They also mentioned New Japan Pro Wrestling. They mentioned Evolve. If I didn't already mention it, they also acknowledged Impact Wrestling. So I thought it was interesting that they put those names out there, and then they were like, or other. And for other, it was like, okay, well, mention the promotion, that's not of that list. So I thought it was interesting that, Evolve was on there then, because when you, at that time, before AEW came into the picture and everything, Evolve, you just look at all the names that came from Evolve, and you're going, man, as far as a indie fed goes, these guys are fucking doing it. they're doing it well. They've been able to continue to thrive. And then with the working relationship that Gabe had with WWE and everything, you're going, almost kind of seemed like a Paul Heyman ECW WWE type of deal to a certain degree. You would have expected that, okay, well, yeah, but that I remember that, and I thought it was kind of weird. And back then, I kind of felt as though WWE, to some extent, was courting Evolved, but maybe the powers that be in Evolve were just, we're gonna wait this out. Yeah, we appreciate that, we appreciate that love, but nah, we're just gonna go on ahead and we're gonna wait it out. We're gonna see what's going on. But that's kind of sad. That's kind of sad what's going on there, but. WWE is acquiring the new LLC that Evolve created when they signed a deal together. They are not acquiring WWN Live, which will continue on, and it'll see Sal. I always don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I've had my fair share of interacting with Sal off and on over the years. He's a good dude. He's a good dude, very polite, cool cat. But Sal is going to continue to focus on the promotions under that umbrella, which consists of Shine, I believe Shimmer, Full Impact Pro, just to name a few. So Sal's going to continue to oversee everything that's going on with those. But also, here's another thing to note. By this sale, if it's official and it goes down, this will also mean that Gabe Sapolsky and Sal, they're going to be ending their professional relationship, which is being described as, it's ending amicable, when it's all said and done. So the talent is really what's going to be what's going to happen here? How what's going to happen with those contracts? Is it going to be a mixer type of situation where those contracts that some of those talents, not all, but some of those talents that do have a contract with Evolve, are those contracts going to be grandfathered in to the WWE, or are complete new deals going to be done? How exactly, there's a lot that's going to need to be weeding out during that whole process. But if you want to look at this as a sad day, you can. If you maybe want to look at this and kind of be a little optimistic and say, well, wait a minute, maybe something can kind of happen here with Evolve. Maybe something, cool will eventually happen here, and maybe we'll be able to still see new episodes of Evolve. Maybe. I gotta tell you, you want to talk about new original content? I don't see why WWE wouldn't. Why not entertain that idea? Kind of interesting right there. Makes you wonder. Seeing this last report here, I want to talk about this, and then we're pretty much going to wrap it up for tonight. There's an interesting report that's floating around. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's being said that WWE, although there isn't an official announcement just yet, WWE is planning on holding SummerSlam at the Performance Center. Now, as we all know, SummerSlam usually hits in August. So the odds of, okay, let's have the fans, it looks pretty damn slim right now. So it's safe to assume that SummerSlam is going to be happening at the Performance Center. And you know what? I'm like this. If WWE decides, hey, this is what we're going to do, I'm okay with it. Whatever at this point is safe for all parties involved. That's all I care about ultimately. What is most safe for all parties involved. And look, not for nothing. If they want to do another two-parter, if they want to do another, like they did with WrestleMania, make it a 2-night event, I'm okay with that as well. You want to make it a weekend type of deal, I'm okay with that as well. Sadly though, that if they do end up doing a 2-nighter for SummerSlam, that's definitely going to affect my weekend, because I will not be able to cover night one live. sadly, because I would have probably missed the first. It depends on what time it would come on, honestly. So I mean, if they did a special start time of 7, 9 times out of 10, I will have already missed the first couple of hours because I'll be tied to work. So it's still a little bit of time for WWE to kind of figure out how all that's going to be panned out. But kind of have that going in the back of your mind, despite the fact that baseball is getting ready to return. The NBA is getting ready to, come back. And you notice these cats that's all coming back, NASCAR and everything as well. You notice it's not opening back up to the fans just yet. They're still doing this whole little quarantine bubble and all that. So, it makes a lot of sense in the world that, not so fast. Fans trying to, pump the brakes a little bit. I don't think we're going to be able to start really realistically be able to entertain the idea of fans being in attendance at live events. Probably not until, if I got to be real with you guys, I don't think anything like that is going to happen until first quarter of 2021. And it kind of feels to me maybe around March, late February, March. It kind of feels as though maybe that's when we're going to kind of slowly see fans come back, be allowed to come to live events and everything. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. All right. So I kind of gave you a little bit more bang for your buck. I gave you guys, when it's all said and done, about 90 minutes of a show. So hope you guys appreciate that. Not much more to get into. Like I said, we're literally coming right back Wednesday night. Wednesday night should be interesting because I don't know if AEW is taking a detour off of their Fighter Fest event because of this Puppy Bowl thing, or if that's just a segment. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. But we also got NXT's Bash Night 2. That's going to be Wednesday. So Wednesday night is going to be very interesting, but I will be live with you guys. Rare Wednesday night. Join me this Wednesday night. It's probably going to be for 1 week only because it's rare I have Wednesdays to myself. I just happen to have a bonus day off for working the 4th of July holiday weekend there. So join me this Wednesday. I'll be live with you guys as soon as NXT and AEW goes off the air. I'll be live tweeting, sharing my reactions to it as well. So check that out. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you may have missed on demand and on the downloads. Patreon members, we got last week's show ad-free up on Patreon. Everybody else that's not Patreon members, the audio version of the show is available all throughout the audio. Good places you like checking out your audio podcast usually. So, iTunes and all that, check them all out. I released it rather late. I think I finally had released it late Saturday night going into Sunday. So peep that out. If you enjoyed this episode, for those of you that's checking out the webcast version, make sure you hit the like button. Lets the YouTube algorithm gods know you enjoyed this content, and it helps them as far as recommending to other folks that's into wrestling and all that. Hey, check this out. Good stuff. Won't be disappointed. Subscribe, spread the word, spread the love, all that good stuff. All right, you can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR show. And until next go around, I'm wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. If you're going to be looking for the audio version of this, I will not be sitting down editing and mixing this until Tuesday night. So Tuesday night at the latest is when this will be released. So enjoy the webcast version for now. Much love. Be safe. Be kind to one another. Adios, guys. Take care.